What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Coinbros. We are your guide through the greatest industry on this little rock spinning through the universe in the simulation that we're all living in here together. And there was some big news today, and it was supposed to be bad news, but it seems to be good news. Bitcoin is holding so steady at 67K. We got three big stories. We're going to talk about all of them, and we'll dive right into it. I'm still a little bit sick from yesterday. I got 100-something fever, bro, and I'm still here to give you guys the daily news. We're going to do it every day. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to read this off because this is pretty cool. Well, I don't know about cool, but this is like a big story. So this is the story. Not the number, not the reaction. 178,000 jobs crushed consensus of 57K. Unemployment fell 4.3% from 4.4%. Under normal conditions, a number this hot would spike yields, crush rate and expectations, and slam risk assets. Instead, BTC held 67K and barely moved. So it's saying in any other situation, in any time this has happened, all assets get crushed. Bitcoin should have got completely crushed, and it did absolutely nothing. It just stayed steady, which is like the most bullish signal because it shows that like sellers are exhausted, you know? Crypto was the only liquid market open on Good Friday. The price and the number alone, and it said this doesn't matter. I think what's happening is the only thing dictating Bitcoin right now is what's going on in the war. All this other stuff that should be a normal sign for Bitcoin to crash, Bitcoin is just holding strong, and it's showing that the only market that matters right now is what's happening in the war with Bitcoin. If we get a resolution there, we could see Bitcoin absolutely send. And the way that it's holding steady through things like this, it's massive. It just shows how strong Bitcoin is as an asset, and they understand now how valuable it is, and it's not dumping the way you'd think it would. And we could be, you know, I keep saying this, don't be surprised if we're close to the bottom, or, you know, if we have one more big dump down, that could be it, right? Like just speculation, but man, it's holding up strong through things like this, right? So that's great. That's a huge story showing how much strength Bitcoin has when things like that happen. It's basically saying every single indicator is saying it should have dumped, and it didn't even budge. So that's number one. Number two, second story of the day, is the Altcoin Spotlight. So altcoins have outperformed Bitcoin, which is a good sign. When Bitcoin's holding strong, and altcoins, which is like everything aside from Bitcoin in the top, you know, whatever 1,000, you're seeing a lot of them near protocol up 6%, Avalanche up 4%, Ethereum holding 2K support. It's showing that like altcoins haven't had like a big run up this last cycle, but the fact that they're showing a little bit of strength now is really good, especially when Bitcoin's holding strength and it's still outperforming. So altcoins are outperforming, at least for today. Hopefully we see a big altcoin push, but that's a good signal too, right? We're seeing altcoins starting to do better. And another story, well, this is part of the story. So let's see here, 178K jobs, 3x the consensus. That kind of number should crush the rate and cut hopes and slam risk assets, right? Which Bitcoin, in people's opinion, a lot of them think it's a risk asset. They're saying that this should have just absolutely crushed it, and Bitcoin didn't even budge at 67K. So it's showing the war has consumed all of crypto's attention. Payrolls don't matter when the Straits of Hormuz are out and oil's at $113 a barrel, which sucks. But, you know, it's just showing that like not even the Fed and things like that are stopping Bitcoin anymore. And usually that just shows that all the sellers are done, man. They're done selling. When they stop selling and people buy, price goes up. So that's good, right? Story number two, big story. Charles Schwab launched a spot crypto trading. So now you can spot trade crypto if you have a Charles Schwab account. That's massive. There's 12 trillion in brokerage that enter into the arena. So that's $12 trillion worth of clients' assets that can now access Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So I'll read that off to you real quick. Schwab 12 trillion spot crypto trading, not an ETF, a direct spot trade. Every person with a Schwab account gets access to Bitcoin and Ethereum alongside their stock portfolio. No wallet, no exchange, no crypto expertise required. This is a moment in crypto industry has been building towards for 15 years, and it's happening while Bitcoin is at 67K. So the fear and greed index is at 9, also extremely low. So that's always a good sign that things are going to turn around, right? But just think about that. $12 trillion of assets that now have access to Bitcoin and crypto. And you don't need to have any experience in the industry. You can literally just make your portfolio part crypto, have Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's freaking massive. $12 trillion in assets. That's so much money. I mean, just imagine 1% of that comes over. Imagine 5% of that comes over to crypto. You're going to see things go crazy. So this is stuff that's been building in the industry for the longest time. And now it's, like it says, Bitcoin's at pretty much the low of the cycle, right? We ran up to 120. It's down to 67. You have news like this. When Bitcoin's low, a lot of people are going to be throwing money into Bitcoin at the low. That's where you get all your gains, right? So smart, whatever they call them, the guys that tell people what to do with their money, they're going to be saying, hey, you might want to look at putting a chunk of your money or your assets into Bitcoin or Ethereum just because of where it's at. If nothing else, like the price is down, it's probably a good thing to do, right? To diversify your portfolio. Sorry, I'm still a little sick. So I would say that might be the biggest news of the day. Charles Schwab, like, you can just have crypto in your portfolio now, and that's a lot of money. So what else we got here? Let's see what other. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much those two stories are massive, right? So those are big stories. Obviously the war, we haven't come to a resolution. It might get a little worse. Now imagine the war we figure out a resolution. That dies down a bit. I think the market's in a great spot to actually start sending again. I mean, we don't know the time horizon, right? It could be 3 months, could be 6 months, could be a year. But the truth is, the closer you reach that bottom and you bottom out, and you head up, it's all upward, right? So you always want to be early. You want to make sure you're early to learning about these things and get in on the way up. You don't want to try to get in when, we're at the top, right? Because then it's like a slide down. So good news, man. And this is like Easter's tomorrow. Happy Easter, everybody. And usually it's not a very good day for crypto and things like that. But this is showing that there's a lot of real strength in the big boys. What else we got here? So yeah, I'll cut it there because I'm still not feeling great, but big news in the industry. Much love, you guys. Be nice to each other. We'll be back tomorrow and every single day. Make sure you like, subscribe. And I'm also going to start doing some dedicated videos. I'm going to actually do some I'm actually going to make some picks on things I think are really good buys in the market, or at least good things to look at. And it's not just going to be coins. It'll be things like NFTs, stuff like that. I'm going to do a video on that probably today at some point. And just stay tuned every day. Much love, guys. Peace.